Welcome to the Miss Francois Show, home edition, the show where I use laughter and humor to help you deal with your dysfunctional relationships. And it is dysfunctional. Thank God I'm here looking amazing as always, and I'm here to help you. You're welcome. Tonight's guest is none other than Dr. George C. Fraser. Normally, Dr. George C. Fraser like to say something that he like to do a dramatical read. There'll be no dramatical read tonight. I don't know what he talking about. I in theater. I saying however I want to talk about him. So, Mr. Dr. George Fraser is the chairman of Fraser Net and Fraser Nation. He's the founder of Power Networking Conference, the best-selling author of 6 books, including Success Runs in Our Race. He's one of the sexiest 75-year-old men I've ever, I don't know who, that's a typo. But he is sexy and he is 75, so technically he could be okay. He has 40 years committed to Black excellence, economic development, and wealth creation for the Black community. And with all that fancy stuff and the books and all that wonderful things and all the things he's doing for Black community, guess what? One of his prize accomplishment is being married to Miss Nora Jean for over 47 years. So, Mr. George, how are you today?
I'm awesome. Good to see you. You look
Go ahead, say all the compliments.
You're easy on the eyes. Let's just put it that way.
Only that? You're supposed to keep going on and on. I look amazing.
Listen, no one would ever know that you're 74. Amazing. You know, black don't crack.
It does
right?
not.
I mean, my God. Right? You look like a modern day Lena Horne.
Oh,
right? Oh,
thank God these things are recorded. I'm so happy. I'm going to be playing that over and over. Okay?
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I wanted to first ask you, every time, recently on one of the Power podcasts that you do on Facebook Live on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 7 p.m. See, I plugged that in there. I'm pretty smart, right? So on one of your Power podcasts, you had said that your wife of 47 years is your time machine. So Nora Jean is your time machine. Why is that?
Because she's very punctual, very orderly, very detailed, and even at her age, like you, it's like she's in a time machine. She's still very beautiful for her age, very supple, and you know, she's just, you know, wonderful to be around. And she keeps me in order. I mean, she has strengths where I have weaknesses. And, you know, how do you stay married to the same person for 47 years unless there are things about that person for you that are timeless and remain, in a sense, consistent? The thing that's important to us about a clock is that it's consistent, right? Yes. Every single day, and we can look at that clock and we know that it's going to go around, and it's going to eventually, so every day is going to be at 8 o'clock, there's going to be at 7:30, there's a consistency. So in that context, Jean has, in a sense, been my clock, and has been my stopwatch. In other words, she's watched me and she'd say, stop. And she, you know, she's just, I think it's a wonderful metaphor for her.
Okay, so right now, basically, we're supposed to pray for Nora Jean because she has a lot of work and she's been doing this for 47 years. So Nora Jean, I'm so sorry. We'll pray for you this afternoon, okay? But that's wonderful. So one of the things you also said, you said she excelled at nagging. Nora Jean, this is what he said about you. You excelled at nagging, and then you realized that she was just preserving her investment. When did that realization come about in the 47 years?
I I realized that relatively recently, to be honest with you, since I've grown older and wiser, probably within the last 15 years, right? So the first, let us say 25 years, well, actually, the first 30 years, I did process it as, goodness gracious, I mean, it's this and that, this, and you reminded me, don't forget to put gas in the car, don't forget to tie, you know. So I categorized that as nagging. But then as I grew older and wiser and matured and began to understand feminine language, right? Because women think and speak differently than men. And you have to interpret what they're saying. Men do. They speak more than men. They're more verbose. But there's a reason for all of this. And that is because they are trying to keep order and to make sure things go right and to protect you from you in many cases, right? And to help you learn and understand what they mean by what they say, right? So, because you really have to read between the lines in many, from a male perspective, on what a woman is saying. You have to listen for the words unspoken, and you have to watch their body language, right? So women have certainly Black women, have a different way of effectively communicating with you, but 99% of it is for your own good.
And it took you
right?
30 years, Mr. George? It took you 30 years.
It took me 30 years to figure that out holistically. Now, any brother listening to me, right, will be able to figure out that in half the time now, because I already told them what the trick is.
So you're giving them some help. That's good.
No, they don't have to go through the same timeline that I went through.
Right. That's what I was thinking. That's a lot. So I wanted to, why do you think, for instance, since yours lasts 47 years, what's the one or two reasons maybe why relationships in this day and age doesn't last that long anymore, or doesn't seem that it will be lasting that long anymore?
Oh, two simple reasons. One is trust. We trust each other. I remember when I was dating Nora Jean, I was living in Cleveland. She was living in Cincinnati. I met her at a Black Expo. She was a hostess for Pepsi Cola. And I had a booth right across from the Pepsi Cola booth. And I saw this beautiful sister. But she wasn't smiling. She's a hostess, but she wasn't smiling. So that was an opening, Miss Francois. It was an opening. She wasn't smiling. So I walked over to a booth. She was sitting down. And I said, I know why you're not smiling. So she looked at me. I said, you're hungry. I said, can I buy you a hot dog and a Coke? All right. Now, remember, she was a hostess.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Then she laughed. And the rest is history. Right? But anyway, so we had it was a wonderful weekend. And we started dating, and we dated for almost 2 years. I would go down to Cincinnati, which is about a 4-hour car drive, one weekend, and she would come up to Cleveland. And we did that. We didn't miss 1 week, right, in 2 years, until we finally said it's just cheaper to be married. Okay?
Wow, that's the first time I heard that one.
So I said to Nora Jean, I said, let's make a deal. Now, you got to remember that at this time, I was very, very popular in Cleveland, so much so that the same weekend that I had met Jean, Ebony Magazine used to have an annual thing called the Black America's 100 Most Eligible Bachelors. Well, the weekend that I met her, do you remember that? You don't remember the Ebony Magazine's 100, right? Right? This was a big deal. Well, the weekend I met Jean, I was one of the most 100 eligible bachelors, black bachelors in America.
Wow.
All right. And that was a national publication. Also, I was very popular for doing a lot of things in Cleveland at the time. I was always sort of a civic leader. And I had a very nice apartment. I had a penthouse apartment, beautifully done. And they had a full page spread in our daily newspaper of George Fraser's penthouse apartment. Okay? Right? This all happened the same weekend that I met Nora Jean. It was all coincidental. So fast forward 2 years, and we decided to get married. And I said, listen, let's make a deal. I said, do you plan to fulfill the vows? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, it says till death do us part. She said, of course. I said, okay, I do too. So let's just make one promise to each other. Don't look and you won't find. Because even if there's nothing to find, you'll create something. Trust me. And by the way, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, because she's very beautiful. I trust you. Then we shook on it.
Wow.
And she fulfilled that for 47 years. And I fulfilled my promise for 47 years. So the number one thing is trust. If you don't have trust, you have nothing anyway. I don't care if you got beauty. I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much money is involved. If there's no trust, you have nothing anyway. Bless it and release it. Okay. So that's the number one thing, trust. And then the number two thing is to at least be in the same book, at least, around the proper use and purpose and management of money. Marriage is a serious business. And over a lifetime, if you have two productive human beings, and Nora always, she made a decision. She wanted to work. She wanted to be out of the house. You're going to be dealing with millions of dollars. Your life is going to reflect that on how you handle and manage that money.
How does Nora Jean deal with him flying all over the world? How is that a strain on the relationship? So join me back here in 2 seconds. Plus, if you don't want to see him, you can always just look at me. We'll be right back.
Now, how will you know that you're wasting your time? You will know that you're wasting your time if you can leave your business and or job tomorrow and be happy. You're in the wrong damn job. See, that went over a lot of people's head. See, if you could leave your business or job tomorrow and be happy, you ain't doing what you love. I couldn't leave what I'm doing tomorrow and be happy. Right? So my advice to you, if in fact you can do that, is you go to your business or you go to your job tomorrow, you pack your up and you get out of there. Because you're screwing up that business and you're screwing up your life. Now, what do I know about people who hate what they do? They're mediocre. I've never met a person who hated what they were doing and loved and was really good at it. No. You're mediocre and you need to get out of there. So to become amazing, you have to reconfigure how you spend your time. To become amazing, you're going to have to change. And what do we know about change? We know that you will never change that which you tolerate, and you will only change when you get angry. Right? Are you angry? You see, Du Bois was angry. Malcolm was angry. Dr. King was angry. In fact, Du Bois was so angry, he left America never to return. Are you angry? Are you fed up with what's going on in this country? I know that Aubrey and Robert are fed up with much of what we see as it relates to business in our community. They're angry. I'm angry, but I'm motivated by a positive anger directed towards positive change. People who are amazing are able to change. What are you doing to change? We must become a different kind of community. This is what we look like. You've seen me show this before. This is what black people look like all over California. It could represent black fraternities, sororities, black churches, black organizations. And what you will notice about these beautiful, educated, and money black people, Aubrey, is that everybody's doing their own thing. Caught up in a Eurocentric value of rugged individualism, survival of the fittest. It's a trick. There is no power here, brothers and sisters. Willie Lynch understood this. This is where all the power is. Whether you're at the center of your own network or part of other networks, this is where all the power is. There's a beautiful African proverb that says that when spiders unite, they can tie up a lion.
Welcome back to the Miss Francois Show. Yes, multi-talented and super sexy as always. And we have the Mr. Sexy, Dr. George Fraser. Say hi, Mr. Fraser. Say hi. And that's his real hair. It's not a toupee or anything. Yes, he does look that good. And yes, he is 75. But I think if he was a little older, maybe I would have tried to get rid of Nora Jean, but he a little too young for me. But anyway, Mr. Fraser, we had shown a clip of you doing what you do best, speaking. So you had mentioned that you've been to, example, Africa over 31 times. So you have flown to many countries, many places. Doesn't that put a strain on relationships? Or are you taking your wife with you on some of these trips? Or how does that work?
Okay. I have been flying and traveling for about 40 years. I have 9.5 million frequent flyer miles. I speak 150 times a year all over the world. And the question is, how has that intersected with the relationship I have with my wife? Well, I can tell you that it has been a lifesaver. And being home with Nora Jean 24/7 for the last 3 months has proven my theory out that there needs to be separation, that the wife needs her space, the man needs his space, right? I don't think you should be up under each other 24/7.
Right.
Now, we have a big house and we do have our own space. So it's not a matter of space or proximity. It is just a matter of presence. And so what I believe that has contributed significantly to the sustainability of this relationship over 47 years is I leave and come back. And when I come back, it's like a mini honeymoon.
Right.
Right? So I am, so it has helped significantly. In fact, before COVID, if I was home for too long could have been a week or 10 days. Miss Nora Jean would say, "When are you leaving?" Right? She'd say it very nicely, but she has her girlfriends, she has her dog, she has her things that she loves to do, right? And it does not involve me, nor should it involve me, nor am I pining for it to involve me. And it gives her her space. And so there's a certain amount of joy and happiness when I return. There's a little trepidation. There's always, oh my God, I don't want the plane to crash or anything. But after 40 years of it, you're not really even thinking of that. So it has helped tremendously. It's helped her, and it has helped me. And of course, this has put the proximity of our relationship, as it has for many couples, to the ultimate test.
Right, because that's one of the next things I was leading to. Because since COVID, that has saying how there has been an increase in divorce and domestic violence. Like since, for instance, how we are been home for 3 months. what are some of the things that people could do, or you and Miss Nora been doing, in order to stay sane and not have a divorce and just reduce domestic violence like it's been going on in society right now? So, like, for instance, right now you're like hiding out somewhere.
Right now, I'm in my office space, and she, which is downstairs, and she's upstairs in her space, right? So, for example, during this period, we don't sleep in the same room, just to give us space, right?
And this is now, like every this is a certain amount of days a week, or what do you mean?
This is 3 months.
What the hell?
So she sleeps upstairs, and I sleep downstairs for the need to fulfill the need of separation, right? The need of separation. And we meet every day in the kitchen. Sometimes we'll eat meals together in the family room. We have a big family room, big 75-inch television. We might watch something together, right? But I'm not sitting up under her while she does whatever she normally does when I'm not around, because I'm not interested. And she's retired. And vice versa. So that's one of the things that has helped to keep us sane and separated.
Okay.
Again, we have reversed some roles. For 47 years, she's done all the shopping.
For 47 years.
For 47 years, I've never been in a grocery store. That was totally her responsibility, or as she has never taken out garbage for 47 years. That was my job, right? And her job was to do the shopping. Well, we have reversed those roles. Now I'm doing all the shopping.
And she takes the garbage
really
out?
Interesting. Huh?
And you have...
No, I still take the garbage out. And the reason I'm doing all this shopping is because Jean is highly compromised. And when I say highly compromised, she has asthma.
Okay.
And a reduced capacity of her lungs. And so she is very, very susceptible to COVID, which attacks the lungs.
Okay.
So to be ultra safe, she stays home. I go out and do the shopping of something that she would normally do.
Okay. So I want to ask a question.
So that's
okay, so I wanted to ask a question. So that is good that you're a very good husband and you were okay with reversing roles and still taking the garbage out. I applaud you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, for you, go ahead.
I want to be married for, 60 years. So that's how you do it.
That's the plan.
Right. That's right.
I have,
what do they say? Happy wife, happy life.
That's what they say. Was a wise person also say no money, no honey, right? That was a wise person.
That's right. That's right.
So I want to know, right, what advice you would have for an amazing woman like me that is still single. So I had asked you if you knew anyone. You don't know anyone, so that was no help to me. But what advice would you give women of today, Black women, independent women doing more than what they're supposed to do in some instances, and they kind of find a husband?
Don't give up. There's someone out there looking harder for you than you are for them. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. But the optimism is that there is a needle in the haystack. You just have to find it. So you don't give up. Continue to be you and to do you. And if you want to meet great Black men men are.
And where that? Let me get my pen. Get past the pen. Okay, go ahead.
Generally, great black men play golf.
Okay, so I got it.
Have you ever thought about taking up golf?
No.
You'll be one of the few fine sisters on the golf course, and it's full of brothers. And most brothers, because golf is an expensive hobby. I play golf. I've been playing golf for 50 years, right? It's an expensive hobby. So you'll be involved in a hobby that is 99% black men.
Really?
Play
I'll
golf.
try that. Play golf. Okay.
Play golf.
I'm
right?
gonna take that seriously.
Oh yeah. Do you belong to a sorority?
No.
Join a sorority. All sororities have a brother fraternity. And when you have a brother, for example, I'm a Phi Beta Sigma. The Zetas are our sister sorority. When the Zetas have an event, all these fine women, the brothers, the brother fraternity, are invited to go. Now, you know these are decent men because, generally speaking, to get in a fraternity or sorority, you're a college graduate.
Right.
So you got to be where the men are that you're looking for. Now, they don't necessarily have to be college graduates, but if you're looking for someone that you know has at least some education, then you go to events where there are men that basically have education. And that's generally fraternal events.
You're pretty smart.
And the only way to get in them is to be in the sister sorority.
Okay, we'll talk about. Check a minute. I have to find out more about these things.
You see how outside of the box I'm thinking here, right? Most people will never give you this advice.
No, this is like
stuff.
I've never ever heard. You hear the typical go to the laundromat or something along those lines. Okay, so I'm very appreciative.
You're generally not looking to meet men at laundromats or bars.
Right. Because
Right.
I mean, that's
Unless
you
they're really,
hear the
really
typical
young.
stuff like that, and the average person, that's what they say, because that's where they are. Go after work. Like someone had told me, like Wall Street, for instance, after work around 6 o'clock or whatever, go to the bars and just sit there. So, but apparently that hasn't been working.
Depends on your age. You're not going to go to a bar where it's full of young people, millennials,
Right.
or 22, 23, 24, 25, unless of course you're looking for a young man for whatever reason.
Okay.
You want to hang out age appropriate and socioeconomic appropriate.
Mr. Fraser doesn't just know about business and business networking. He knows about relationship networking also. So this is the man we all need to know and see and find out more about. So, Dr. Fraser, tell us about your Power podcast so people can actually view it. When is your Power podcast? It's on Facebook?
Well, the Power podcast is we've just done 30 of them. We finished the spring season. We're going to start up summer season in a couple of weeks. And you can go to my George Fraser fan page on Facebook, and all 30 of them are sitting there. You can watch any of them, or you can just YouTube them. So the All-Star Power podcast, and there's some incredible interviews. You've seen many of them. You have your favorites. I have my favorites, but it's basically 30 hours of the baddest brothers and sisters on the planet. Right, so you go to my fan page on Facebook, and I'm trying to remember what it's. I think it's George C Fraser fans. George C Fraser fans, but it's an unbelievable series.
I know. I definitely, like I said, I watch it myself. And with that said, thank you for joining me today on the Miss Francois Show, the home edition. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. I'm on all social media platforms. And again, at the end of the day, Look at all of this. Look at this cuteness. Okay. I'm about to learn to play some golf. Okay. My husband, I'm coming. All right. I'm coming. Thank you so much. See you all later.